Welcome. It is time for the WSN Weekly NFL Picks. I am your host, Adam Forsyth, joined as always by Ryan Sullivan, and we are very excited to break down every single NFL game this week. Ryan, what do we got coming up?
We've got a sweet-looking week ahead. We got amazing games on the schedule, but before we get to anything, of course, we give our best bets, our locks of the week, and then we're going to break down every single matchup game by game, as we always do. Adam, you won the coin toss. Why don't you take the best bets?
Yeah, this is my favorite feature of the week, Ryan. The best bet. It's the one that you are going to make some money on. We kind of find that one game, that one prop that, we feel the most confident about. And this week, I'm feeling really good, Ryan, because every week kind of reminds me that I'm the best bet champion.
I don't know where you're getting this from.
It's like 7 weeks running, buddy. Yeah, and now we're to week 8 of the season, and it's just constantly cash.
So immediately I've lost all credibility. I'm 0-7.
Well, yeah.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
Obviously, it's the truth.
Sure, yeah.
This week, I'm going to look to one of the bigger spreads, and until they prove me wrong, you just kind of have to ride the Patriots at this point. I mean, the beatdown they put against the Jets on Monday night was ridiculous, and this week they're facing Cleveland at home. And the bettors are siding with me on this one because it opened at minus 10.5 points for the Pats, and now it's up to 13. So, you can tell the money's pouring in on New England. And again, they haven't proved me wrong at all. Tom Brady, this guy is the ageless wonder. He's going to play till he's 50. And then this week they add receiver Mohamed Sanu to the mix. Gives him the depth they're looking for. It's ridiculous. So, I'm all over the Pats, minus 13 points. That is my best bet of the week.
And then when he turns 50, he can go to the CFL and play till he's 60.
Yes,
so exactly. It's not too bad. Yeah, just keep that going. Not too bad. So pretty amazing. I mean, you threw you stole all credibility from me right off the bat, and then you go completely off the board and take the New England Patriots. Oh my gosh, the creativity is pouring out from that side of the table, my friend. But you're absolutely right. That is an absolute lock. That's a padlock with a dumpster full of cement poured on top of it. They are not losing that game. However, I'm going to change things up a little bit, and I'm going to go with the first game of the week. Washington is visiting the Minnesota Vikings, and it is a bit of a homecoming game across the board. I mean, of course, we have Case Keenum coming back to Minnesota. We have Chad Cousins that's not a homecoming, but he's taking on the Washington Redskins, of course. The big story in this game is the ass kicking that's going to be delivered by the Minnesota Vikings, and this is my lock of the week. This is my best bet of the week. You look at the Washington Redskins, and we're talking dumpster fires here. They've already cycled through all three quarterbacks. Now they're back to the top of the order again. They're going with Case Keenum, putting all their faith in him, even though they stole it from him just a week ago. And they've already gone through one of their head coaches. We're on to coach number 2. We're only in week 8. And they're on coach number 2. They're on quarterback number, I guess that's number 1, but back to the top of the order. You see what I'm saying? Anyways, I like the Vikings to win this game. The way Case Keenum's been throwing that football lately, he's been absolutely chucking darts. Adam Thielen is questionable right now, but he says he feels like he's going to play. I believe him. I'm taking the Vikings here. How can you not? It's a big spread at 15.5 points, but I like him to win. I like him to cover. Take the Vikes.
Even Thielen kind of questionable. Do you like it?
Even questionable. I mean, you look at that team and across the board, I mean, Diggs has been getting the job done when Thielen's not. Let's not even bother talking about Kyle Rudolph because he hasn't been seen since 2016. But Dalvin Cook has been absolutely incredible this season as well. Whether they're not going through the air, if they're going on the ground, they can get it done. I like the Vikes to win and cover.
Rudolph only plays in December.
Yeah.
It's a Christmas joke.
And I always pick it up in fantasy, so believe me, I know. Yeah.
All right, so for our listeners living in New Jersey or West Virginia, go to WSN.com for special bonuses and deals if you want to bet on this week's games. You compare the best legal online sports books. You get exclusive offers, Ryan, when you sign up and you start betting. So we got a busy slate of NFL games this week, some great ones. So let's start breaking them down. You kind of just touched on it, that first game, the Thursday nighter, Washington at Minnesota. Vikings currently favored by 15.5 points and the over-under set at 42. So let's break it down a little bit more. You kind of touched on it. It is the Kirk Cousins revenge game. Minnesota gets lucky, short week. Washington is, I'll steal your words, a dumpster fire. A brutal Washington team. Even with Adam Thielen kind of dealing with that hamstring issue. By the way, what a nice TD catch on Sunday that caused the injury. That was ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
The Vikings, they should feast on this game. Everyone kind of hates on Cousins. This is ridiculous. He actually has the highest QB rating in the NFL right now. Not Tom Brady, not any other quarterback. Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
So
what a difference a few great weeks can make.
it is ridiculous. Early in the season, they were struggling, and everyone's like, "Oh, guaranteed money."
They're running them out of town.
So even say Thielen is sidelined. One guy I really like to score this game, Stephon Diggs. Great bet to find the end zone if you're looking at some prop bets, maybe even some daily fantasy numbers. And then I like the Vikings to cover the spread. You know, if it bounces Minnesota's way, the Kirk Cousins catchphrase. You like that? You like that, Ryan?
I do like that.
Okay, good.
Yes, I do. Absolutely. Maybe I should have taken a different game because we're talking about the same game. Well, I'm talking about the same game twice here. But nonetheless, everything that you just said, absolutely agree, 110%. I don't even think dumpster fire sums up. I don't even think it's a good enough word to justify the Washington Redskins right now. They are just beyond brutal. I don't see Case Keenum finishing the season as the starting quarterback.
No chance.
Let alone a few weeks from now. But it's nice that he can go back to Minnesota, where he had the nice skull clap going on. I hope he can find some magic. I do. It would be nice to see him chuck a touchdown or two to show that he hasn't completely lost it. However, they're not covering that spread. It's a big one, 15.5 points, but Minnesota at home, they've been deadly all season long, and I don't see that stopping in this game.
I don't think Case Keenum's in the league by the end of this season.
Yeah, I'd be surprised.
A quick glance at the numbers for this one. Some betting trends, if you want to kind of dive a little deeper, is Minnesota is 6-1 against the spread in the last 7 games at home. So there you go. There's kind of a leaning towards covering the spread there. And the total has gone over in 5 of Washington's last 5 games when playing Minnesota. So again, maybe some kind of favorable betting advice there. The over and against the spread, Minnesota looking pretty solid.
And Minnesota 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 Thursday night games. Everyone loves a Thursday nighter.
Woo! Shall we move on to the Sunday games? Because it's a very busy slate.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so for the Sunday game, the first one we're going to dabble in. The Giants versus the Lions. Lions, the spread is Lions minus 6.5, and the over-under is set at 49 points. Ryan, your breakdown.
Yeah, so thus far, people are probably thinking, what is going on with the show? They've gone from the Redskins, and now they're trying to get us excited about the Giants taking on Detroit. Trust me, there are better games on the schedule, but this one's not too bad. If you're a betting man, 6.5, it's not a horrible spread, especially Detroit at home. However, there is an X factor here. Kerryon Johnson just hit the injured reserve, and now they're bringing in a rookie 6th-round pick to be their bell cow up the middle. I don't really like that, so with that said, Matty Stafford is going to go to the air early and often throughout this game, no question about it. And he's going to look for Kenny Golladay, who's been fantastic so far this season, and he's going to look for Marvin Jones Jr., who last week also pretty damn incredible. This guy has great hands, and he's the number 2 on the team. But with that said, does anybody ever feel confident when you say Matt Stafford's going to go to the air early and often? I don't feel confident even just saying that now. But when you look at the Giants, I mean, Daniel Jones, he took over a little late in the season. He's been fairly up and down. I think this kid can be a pretty strong candidate. You know what? I shouldn't say anything about rookie there. That's way too far away. He's not. No. I didn't say it. I was thinking it, but I didn't say it. Okay?
We should do a segment called like the bold take of the week.
No. I did not say it. But he has the capability of putting together some pretty great games, I think. He's shown out there that he can be a pretty good conductor behind the O-line. And I see him actually covering the spread. I don't see them winning this game, but Saquon Barkley is going to be absolutely amazing, as he usually is. And I just see a lot of screen passes. I see a lot of checkdowns. I see the Giants draining this clock, and I see him covering that spread.
Quick question for you. You said it earlier in your preview. What is a bell cow?
The bell cow. He's going to be the workhorse. He's the guy that just gets fed nonstop.
No, but what's a bell cow?
Oh, it's a cow with a bell. Oh.
Okay. I don't know what that means either.
That's what people say, so I just started saying it. I guess it's a cow with a bell.
All right, well, here's my view on the game. It's definitely one of the tastier matchups on the NFL slate this week. Lions entering the game, they are livid because that was a bad divisional loss to the Vikings on the weekend. And the Giants, unfortunately, will be on the receiving end of their fury. I love the current line for the Leos. I'm kind of against you on this one, the minus 6.5. Outside of a week 4 beatdown of Washington against Washington, the Giants have allowed at least 27 points in every single game this season. That's pathetic. And Matt Stafford's already counting the touchdowns he plans on throwing. I mean, the over is pretty tempting. It's a big line. 49 points is a lot. But again, the Giants can't keep their opponents out of the end zone. So the Giants getting beat up on the road, the over hitting in the last 5 contests against the Giants, I really like the Lions in this one. Matt Patricia's crew will be fired up and ready to go.
Because I want to enjoy my life, I've just kind of avoided watching as many Giants games as possible. So when I think of Daniel Jones, I always think back to when he came in against Tampa Bay, and everyone's like, oh, man, this Daniel Jones kid's pretty damn good. He hasn't been the same player in a long time. So I just want to... The rookie of the year, when I said that, and his name, they were in two different sentences. Okay, I did not say Daniel Jones for rookie there. I just want that to go on record.
I do.
Whoever's taking minutes over there, that goes on record.
Tom is taking the minutes over there.
Tom, jot that down.
I knew you were good at riding a bike. I didn't know how well you were good at backpedaling. You can go to WSN.com. Tons of awesome stuff there. Extensive odds, free picks for all the major sports, tons of betting guides for beginners. Everyone wanting to learn more about strategy and how sports betting works, you got to check out WSN.com. Among the numerous games we're breaking down this week is Tennessee at Tampa. And you can head to WSN.com. You get expert online sportsbook reviews that let you compare all the best legal sports betting sites available in the United States. And among those reviews will be the Tennessee Titans versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh, baby. And why don't we just talk about just that? The Titans are favored by 2.5. They are at home. The over-under is set at 46. All right, before we go any further here, Ryan Tannehill's Titans, yes, they beat a free-falling Chargers team last week, but that was more of a Chargers just absolute giant garbage, disgusting dumpster fire all in one, rather than a Tennessee accomplishment in my book. After watching these Chargers the last few weeks, it's getting hard to do, but we'll get to that momentarily. Let's talk Tennessee here. I still do not love them, whether they're at home, whether they're on the road. It doesn't make a difference. I still do not trust Ryan Tannehill. Maybe that's from years of watching him in Miami and just getting scarred taking him in fantasy. I'm not sure, but I like Tampa Bay in this game. They've been waiting for a good matchup to finally put things together on both sides of the ball. We've seen that they can do it. We've seen that offense can be electric, and Jameis does have the capability. So I see them actually putting together a decent game. I kind of like the over in this. I mean, Tennessee usually does not put up a lot of points, but I think Tampa Bay can find that juice just like they did against the Rams a few weeks ago on offense. I think they can move the rock around pretty nicely, and I take Tampa Bay to take this game.
It's interesting you say the over because I'm going to lean towards the under on this one, despite what past trends have suggested. The total has gone over in 4 of Tampa Bay's last 5 games. So right there, that the points are on your side. But it's kind of one of the harder games to get a read on. I mean, the line's already moved around a bunch. When the lines opened up, Tampa Bay was favored, and now it's the Titans. I called the Buccaneers the Jekyll and Hyde team of this year's NFL because it's an electric offense one week, and then it's Jameis Winston, whatever that is.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
So on the road, I'm kind of expecting a quieter week from Winston's offense. The under is very tempting. Over under 46. As for the end result, the Titans, they've won 7 of their last 8 games against the Bucs. So I kind of like that trend to continue on Sunday. So if I were to kind of lay a line on this one, I like the Titans and I like the under. So I'm going the exact opposite of you, Ryan.
That is absolutely fair, and you are free to do so, my friend.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
That's friendship.
Friendship at its finest.
It's the only ship that counts.
Why do you mind if I intro the next game here? Okay.
Of course.
We have the Chargers and the Bears. The Bears are favored by 4, and I know that this is going to break TV ratings. Who's not going to tune in to watch the Chargers and the Bears? Oh my gosh. I'm going to be more excited. I should mention, it will come up in future weeks on the show, so let's just get it out there right now. I do have a little bit of a bias. I am slightly of a Chargers fan.
What?
Yeah, slightly. I'm just going to throw it out there, okay? I like the Chargers, but this year, watching them just like crumble and burn has been absolutely tough. The thing with this game is that the Bears are going to take it. I'm just going to throw that out there first off, but I'm going to justify that. The Bears are going to take it. They're going to cover. The Chargers cannot beat a third-string quarterback in Hodges in Pittsburgh a few weeks back. They got absolutely dominated. They couldn't beat a second-string quarterback last week against Ryan Tannehill. They're not going to beat an actual starting quarterback this week in Mitch Trubisky. And believe me, I use the term starting very lightly because he might lose that job this week. We'll see. But either way you slice it, the Chargers have an absolutely decimated O-line. They're down 3 starters on that O-line, and you see what happens every single week. Phillip Rivers has to get rid of that ball immediately because he's got no time. That's why Hunter Henry's cleaning up because he's just going check downs 5 yards every single time. We wonder why Melvin Gordon fumbled the football at the last second last week. It's because nobody is protecting him. He has nowhere to go, and it's just an absolute assault every time.
You're coming in hot.
I know. It's an assault every single time on these damn Chargers because they thought they had it made. They didn't add to the O-line in the offseason. I'm not bitter whatsoever. Take the Bears.
There we go. You all right?
I'm going to get some water.
Okay. Chargers, Bears. The line right now is Bears -4. Over under is 40. So the betting lines, the gamblers believe that, yeah, this will be a low-scoring game, and as you kind of pointed out, it probably will be that way. This might be the garbage game of the week. Sorry, Ryan.
Might be.
Might be. Two teams, questionable play calling in the clutch. These guys seem to blow fourth quarter leads all over the place. It's the ultimate recipe for the under to hit hard. I know 40 is a pretty low number, but I still like that. One player prop I really do like, and you just kind of actually mentioned Hunter Henry to score. It's not that bad. He wasn't getting a lot of red zone targets last week, so that might scare some people off, but it's because they kept handing the ball off to Melvin Gordon, and he could not find the end zone. So if I'm kind of looking for maybe a daily fantasy play or even just a prop bet to find the end zone, I think Hunter Henry is the guy. I should mention, too, the total has gone under in 5 of the last 6 Chargers games. So
that is fair. And you know, and I just want to add to that, if you're playing daily fantasy, I think the X factor here for Chicago is Tariq Cohen. They need to get this guy going.
Yeah.
He's the only reason they had any success whatsoever last season, and they've virtually taken him off the field this time around. If they want to have any success whatsoever in this game and in future weeks, they need to get Tariq going. And against a brutal, brutal Chargers team, you're not going to get a better opportunity to kickstart that engine. But before we get to anything else, why don't I just throw out a couple words here for WSN.com. If you're looking for some odds, if you're looking for some covers, some spreads, you got it there. Extensive odds and free picks for all major sports. Tons of betting guides for beginners and anyone wanting to learn more about strategy and how sports betting works. And you can find some state-by-state guides to find out if sports betting is legal where you live. And when you can expect it to become legal as well. So that's a nice thing.
All right.
A nice little feather in the cap there.
For our next game, I went to WSN.com and got myself a little preview of the Seattle Seahawks taking on the Atlanta Falcons. Seahawks currently favored by 6.5 points, which is pretty insane, really, on the road. But Atlanta, they're bad. They're really, really bad.
They're not good.
The Falcons, they've failed to take flight. See what I did there? Over and over again this season. I know, I'm sorry. Even with Dan Quinn, if he loses this game, he has to be fired. I mean, come on, this is ridiculous. Atlanta mailing in another brutal effort on Sunday against the Rams. I just don't think they can turn it around. Like, they traded Mohamed Sanu this week, and then they're playing a Seahawks team that's going to play with an edge because they're mad themselves. They got crushed by the Baltimore Ravens at home. So a couple of the trends I like. I think Russell Wilson playing in a dome, he should really adapt quickly here. The Falcons line is a disaster. So I like Wilson to hit the over in rushing yards. And if you're looking for something a little bit more juicy, a little bit more bang for your buck, DK Metcalf, the rookie, he fumbled last week. He was very upset about it. This is his revenge game. Him finding the end zone, there's some pretty good odds out there if you can find it.
Yeah, and I mean, Pete Carroll's been really good with that too. As soon as somebody drops the ball, I mean, Chris Carson had a number of costly fumbles earlier in the season.
Double C.
They kept feeding him the rock though, and I'm with you. I think DK is going to see some action. I think he's going to see some footballs. You look at the Atlanta Falcons, who are not taking flight, evidently.
Oh,
yes, but the Seahawks will take. Anyway, yeah, the Atlanta Falcons have already given up on their season. They're 1-6. And they just shipped off their number 3 wideout, Mohamed Sanu, to the Patriots. I mean, somebody offers you a second rounder for your number 3. You're not going to say no to that. But with Sanu out of the mix, you now have 2 obviously capable pairs of hands here in Jones and Ridley. But I just don't see this team doing anything. I don't trust Devontae Freeman, who's going to see the rock quite a bit if Matt Ryan stays banged up.
You know it's a ball, right? Not a rock.
When did this happen?
Yeah, new change they put in this year.
Get out. Oh, my gosh. But anyhow, I don't see him, making too much noise. Ito Smith is injured as well. Matt Ryan's coming into this game banged up. If he does play right now, it's a big question mark facing the Falcons. And you look at the Seahawks. Yeah, they lost last week to the Baltimore Ravens. But, they were coming back. There was a decent little push in that game. And then Metcalf had that ridiculous rookie fumble is the only way you can phrase it. That's a complete rookie fumble right there. And, obviously the Ravens capitalize on that. So I see the Seahawks taking this game with ease, and I see them covering as well. No problem.
Wow. All right. Love it. All right. Our next WSN breakdown involves the New York Jets and the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are going to try and pounce on a victory. They're currently favored by... that was just as bad as the flight reference.
This is nice.
Jaguars currently favored by 4.5 points. Ryan, your breakdown, sir.
Yeah, Adam, and this is a sensitive topic. In my fantasy pool last week, I went into the Monday night. I was trailing by 20. It's a PPR league, half-point PPR, and I had 2 players on the Jets. How the hell can they not make up 20? I had Le'Veon Bell and Jamison Crowder, and Sam Darnold was beyond brutal in that game. I do not trust this quarterback. I do not trust the green, white, and black trim whatsoever. I like the Jaguars. I mean, it's not a huge spread. I mean, it's a 4.5 point right now for the Jags, and I see them taking it. I like Gardner Minshew. It's hard not to like Uncle Rico with that handlebar. I like the Jags to take it. I like them to win, and I think this team's going to be stronger. I think that defense, in all honesty, maybe this sounds a little ridiculous because I know the guy's talented, but I think without Jalen Ramsey, without his back injuries, without the distraction there, I think they're going to be a lot better for it. And
Wow.
and I like the Jags in this game to take it. I mean, we have 2 pretty evenly matched, terrible football teams here. Let's be honest. On paper, there's nothing special here, but I like the Jags. I give them the edge in this game.
That's another good hot take there, that the Jacksonville's better without Jalen Ramsey.
We'll see, buddy. We'll see. I absolutely believe it. The guy, when he showed up to training camp, came out of a Brinks truck. Are you kidding me?
Hey.
He's not a distraction?
Hey, the man.
Brutal.
You know who was very angry at Sam Darnold alongside you was daily fantasy players, because he was an outright disaster. And you know what? I'm willing to bet the WSN had some great coverage of that one, saying, you know what, you might want to avoid Darnold on this one. DraftKings, FanDuel, viewers can sign up using links on WSN.com to take you to those sites. They have great advice for all that kind of stuff. And I'm pretty confident they will say, do not take Sam Darnold this week. It's a bad game. As you mentioned, I'm loving Gardner Minshew in this matchup. It's tough. On paper, they should be a good call on most bets, but it's an improved and healthy Jets D-line, and the fact 7 of Jacksonville's last 8 games have hit the under. So I'm kind of leaning that direction. Leonard Fournette's been really good lately, but again, hitting 90-plus yards as a prop bet, that one also seems a bit of a stretch going against the Jets. I mean, Sony Michel had 3 touchdowns, but his yards were pretty low. Same with James White on the Monday Nighter. So, and that one, as well as out wide, Gardner Minshew spreading the ball out just a little bit too much to put faith in any over reception yard prop bets you might have towards D.D. Westbrook or DJ Shark. I know because I got burned on the Shark bet last week. So that is what I'm going with, Jacksonville and the under.
I want to add to that too. If you are playing daily fantasy sports, another reason that I like Gardner Minshew here, I like him to go over in the passing yards, is because this is kind of his finale. Nick Foles is getting healthy right now, and guaranteed. I mean, they signed him to big money. Nick Foles is going to play when he comes back. You better believe it. As great as Gardner Minshew's been, as great as we love the story, as great as we love the handlebar mustache, it's probably time to, get back to the sidelines, grab a clipboard. So this is his finale. He's going to have to, put up or shut up here, and I see him putting up big numbers.
All right, let's keep it rolling. Our next game is Philadelphia at Buffalo, where the Bills are currently favored by 1.5 points. The over-under is set at 43. It's kind of the matchup between the two teams that are really bad, Ryan. Week 7 performances, they were rough. And that's saying the Bills won, and it was bad. They were facing a Miami team that they should have just stomped, and Miami was kind of hanging around till late in the fourth quarter. Eagles, not so much. That game was over within the first 5 minutes. This week, Josh Allen actually has a pretty good opportunity to bounce back. Philly gives up a ton of air yards, as we saw against Dallas. Great value in hitting the over on those receivers. John Brown, over on Cole Beasley receptions. This game is kind of a prop bettor's dream. And then as for the actual score itself, it doesn't necessarily translate to points, those catches and those yards. The Eagles and Bills have a long history of hitting the under when they play each other in Buffalo, a little bit of frigid temperatures. I expect a game full of field goals, and I will take the under in this game.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
A few years ago, I said Josh Allen is going to be the best quarterback in this draft class. And everyone said, Ryan, you are stupid. That doesn't make any sense. Well, let's look around the board here, shall we?
Not the first time someone said that to you either.
No. I think at the top of the show you alluded to that. But Baker Mayfield has been nothing short of brutal. Let's see, Sam Darnold, we just talked about him. Nothing short of horrific so far this season. And I mean, let's look at Josh Rosen. He's the number 2 quarterback on the Miami Dolphins. My grandma could start for the Miami Dolphins, and he's holding the clipboard on the sideline. Are you kidding me? Josh Allen has been proving me right all season long. This kid's got talent. Now, given he still makes some young guy mistakes, he still goes a little too high over the middle, he still goes a little bit too long when he's throwing deep, but nonetheless, with that arm strength, with his mobility, he's a fantastic quarterback, and I see him doing pretty damn well this week as well. You look at the other side of the ball, the Buffalo Bills have a tremendous defense. We need to get rid of the moniker that the Buffalo Bills are the Buffalo Bills, because it just has that negative connotation to it. It's like talking about the Cincinnati Bengals, except that one's still going quite strong. The Buffalo Bills are a different team, and at home, they are 5-0 against losing teams this season. They've been fantastic, and coming off that game against the Dallas Cowboys, man, Philly's ego has been bruised. I don't see him, getting Redemption Island here in Buffalo. I see Buffalo turning it up at home. I see him taking the win. Obviously, they're going to cover that spread. Who are we kidding? The over-under 43. I'm afraid to touch it. I'm afraid to go anywhere near it. But I think
a little low, yeah.
I think if you stick to that money line, though, you're going to be laughing come Monday morning.
I like that. All right. And I should point out, I have seen Grandma Sullivan chuck the pigskin. She has an arm.
She's not bad.
Yeah. I mean,
mobile in the pocket.
It's a great scramble game. Let's jump on a plane, head across the Atlantic for our next game, because there is a London game this week, and you don't have to set the alarms too early because it is that regular start time with all the morning slate of games. It is the LA Rams versus the Cincinnati Bengals, and this one is a big spread. The Rams currently favored by 13.5 points, and the bettors clearly think that there's going to be some points put on the board because the over-under is set at 48.5.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the Rams, and you're not wrong. I mean, it is a decent-sized spread. They've added Jalen Ramsey to their back end, who, as you know, I said was a distraction, but distractions seem to work in the past for the LA Rams. I mean, they brought in Aqib Talib, they brought in Ndamukong Suh for a season, they went to the Super Bowl with them. Distractions just seem to find their way around, no problem, in Los Angeles. So I think Jalen Ramsey will fit in nicely there. They're 9-3 against the spread in their last 12 overall. I'm taking the Rams in this game, and it's always, the London experiment. It's nice. I mean, let's bring more fans in. I get it. Let's sell a few more jerseys. But if you're going to do some London games, give them some games. What is this? I mean, the Jaguars were going over there every season. Now you're sending them the Cincinnati Bengals? What's going on here? Are we trying to get viewers or what?
Don't underestimate the London audience and their fandom of Andy Dalton. People love some Andy Dalton.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, the Cincinnati Bengals are not the glory story of this year, let alone the last decade. We're just sending our garbage over. It's like the Canadians in the Philippines. They're just sending the garbage over. So maybe we're getting political here.
Tom, edit that out.
Yeah. Tom. No. Anyhow, no, I like the Rams to take this game. I like them to cover that spread as well. I mean, yeah, it's a little hefty right now, 13.5. The over-under, I kind of like the over, to be honest with you. I think that, Dalton will find his way. He has shown that some of these receivers can get the job done, Tyler Boyd and whatnot, but I like the over in this game. There's not two extremely amazing defensive teams. You look at the Rams and Bucs a few weeks back. I mean, that scoreboard shot up quick, and I think they'll do the same in London, and hopefully bring some London fans over to the great game of the National Football League.
All right. Yeah, the over-under, I'm not touching on this one. It's just, I don't know what's going to happen. But what I do love in this game is the Rams. And again, I'm kind of hopping on all these big spreads this week, but I love the Rams to cover this game. The big concern for me, though, is their travel. They've had a really wild few weeks. So, West Coast team, they have to go to Georgia, play in Atlanta, and then they got to take off to London. It's that can't be easy. That's a lot of travel on a team. But a finally healthy Todd Gurley should tear up a very weak Cincy D-line. Spread's big, but looking at some recent trends of the past, the Rams are 9-3 against the spread in the last 12 games. I really like their odds. Ryan, they're going to ram their way to a victory.
Wow. You've just got a full list of these over there, don't you? It's not
puns.
Yeah, puns. It's not too bad. Like I was saying, the over-under, I like the over. I'm not confident with that. If you want a bit more analysis, if you want a bit more research, not on just this game, but on all the games across the board, head to WSN.com. They've got some great articles there. They've got some tremendous predictions coming up. So check it out. By all means, if you're not feeling confident with me throwing the over out there, because I'm not really feeling that confident myself even saying it, WSN.com. Do some back checking there. It's a pretty good time. Arizona at New Orleans up next. The Saints favored by 10. The over-under set at 47.5.
This game, fantasy owners' dream. I'm loving this one. I'm expecting some big numbers from this matchup. I'm hammering that over all day long. Both teams playing this high-flying, exciting offense. It'll be showcased on the weekend. Kyler Murray, there is your Rookie of the Year.
Hey, I don't know what you're talking about because I didn't say anything about Rookie of the Year.
Okay.
I just mentioned the word, and I also mentioned Daniel Jones in a far-off, distant sentence. The two were not connected.
Fantastic. Kyler Murray, great chance to get some big ground yards, especially after the Saints kind of dealt with that flat-footed Mitch Trubisky, Chase Daniels combo on Sunday. On the Saints side of things, I really like the Latavius Murray to, you call it the vulture. You vulture a goal line touchdown. It is the thorn in the side to daily fantasy players, especially if you put Alvin Kamara in your lineup. But Latavius Murray, red zone targets, I like it. So I like him to score a touchdown. I like the over in this game, and I'm really iffy on the line. Saints -10. I think I might stay away from that one.
Yeah, I think you're probably not wrong in doing so. This game's likely going to be Teddy Bridgewater's last game as a starter, and he's going to go out with a bang. I mean, the guy's going to finish 6-0 as a starting quarterback this season. That's pretty damn good. He's a veteran guy. He's got a great story to him, of course, coming back off the injury and whatnot. This is his finale. And I know what I was saying before with daily fantasy, looking at Gardner Minshew and in his finale, obviously he's going to go off. Watch for Teddy Bridgewater to just make some safe passes. I mean, this guy, he's got a good head on his shoulders. And you can tell, I mean, the guy's 6-0, but if you look at him in fantasy, there's really nothing that special there because he just makes safe passes. He makes safe plays, and that's how you win these football games. And New Orleans Saints this season, pretty safe team across the board. I mean, Alvin Kamara's done his job, and they just make sure that all their receivers just get the job done and do what they need to do and make those easy catches. There's nothing too sexy about watching the Saints this season, but they're a winning team, and in this game, it's hard not to like them as well. I like the Saints to cover. I do feel confident, more confident with the over in this game than I do in the London game. 47.5 points. I mean, like you were saying, Kyler Murray, an absolute electric quarterback. The offense is great over there. It's their defense that's the Achilles heel. So I see this game going the over, no problem, and I see the Saints taking the win.
The best thing for bettors is if it is a blowout for the Saints, it's going to cover that spread, and then Kyler Murray soaks up some garbage time touchdowns and just kind of hits that over.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what we're looking at. All right, let's keep it moving. We have the Denver Broncos, the Indianapolis Colts. It is in Indy, and the Colts are favored by 6.
Yes, and I like the Colts in this game. I know this is probably just as gutsy as your New England pick and your best bet right off the top after watching Denver last week. Oh my gosh! If you need to catch up on your sleep, watch last week's Denver game.
Joe Flacco, more like Joe Lacko.
Whoa, those Broncos got bucked. I don't know.
Puns.
You got the puns. I'm no good with them. But the Colts have drawn a lot of interest, obviously, around their quarterback, given the whole Andrew Luck thing, quitting before the season started. But not enough has been said about their defense. I mean, the defensive rookie of the year last year, Darius Leonard, he's back. He's healthy. He missed a couple weeks. He was banged up here and there. He's now back in the mix. And this defense can be one of the scariest in the league when they're on their game. These guys shut down Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs a few weeks back. They're a decent unit. And if they put it together, they can be absolutely scary. And against Joe Flacco, who just seems to be throwing up moon balls left, right, and center.
Balls.
Yeah, I think they're absolutely going to capitalize. I like Indiana to take this game. I love them to cover the spread, no problem. They're 8-1 straight up through their last 9 at home. Get ready to make that 9-1 this Sunday.
I am fully on board with you on this one. We have an accord.
Oh, yeah, I like it.
Jacoby Brissett quickly playing his way into MVP consideration, and that's not just like pumping his tires. He is playing that well. Any concerns about replacing Andrew Luck? Long gone. I'm all over the Brissett T.Y. Hilton connection for this game too, and I've been cashing in. I've been hitting this bet every single week. Hilton to score, Hilton on the over for receiving yards. I love them both, and maybe among my favorites of the week. This almost made the best bet category. And backing my theory of a big week for the Colts is Indy is 6-1 against the spread in their last 7 home games against the Broncos. So much like you, Ryan, I will be taking the Colts in this game.
In their last how many games against the Broncos?
They are 6-1 against the spread in their last 7 home games against the Broncos.
7 home games against the Broncos. So this is almost going back to like Jake Plummer.
Oh, yeah. And guess what? They lost that game, the Broncos. Yeah. So It supports my theory.
Good throwbacks, man. I like it. Nice.
All right, morning slate games out of the way. So we are going into the Sunday afternoon games, and we start off with the Carolina Panthers taking on the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers favored by 5.5. Over-under set at 46. One of the tougher matches to predict this week, Ryan. I just can't really get on board with the 49ers. Like, they're an undefeated team, but I'm still leaning heavily towards taking the Panthers plus the points. Maybe even Carolina on the money line. Christian McCaffrey back from a bye. He's hungry. He wants to feast. San Fran's numbers against the run really propped up by an opening great 3 weeks. But in the Niners' last 3 games, they've given up over 100 yards on the ground. That is music to the ears of Sir Christian McCaffrey. He was knighted at some point during the bye week. And he actually has reasonable odds to hit over 100 yards as a prop bet. Great price. Hit the over on the ground.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. And I'm not on the Niners bandwagon whatsoever. I don't think they're the best team in the NFC. I don't think they're even the best team in the NFC West, to be honest with you. You look at their wins. I mean, they've taken out Tampa Bay. They've taken out Cincinnati. Steelers with a backup quarterback. They dominated the Browns, which everyone's doing. They beat the Rams. I mean, that's pretty decent. They took out the Redskins 9-0 in that tsunami of a game last weekend. There's nothing really there that shows me how powerful this team is. I mean, when we're looking at undefeated records right now, the 49ers are not the New England Patriots. I want to go on record. I want to get my credibility back. The 49ers are not the New England Patriots. All right?
That's the spiciest take of the week.
Yeah, it is, man. It's juicy right there. I don't believe in this team whatsoever. Who I do believe in is Kyle Allen, man. I mean, this guy has taken the job. The coaches have even said when Cam's healthy, Kyle's got the job until he loses it right now. I like Kyle Allen. It's a great story, too. It's nice to see. I think he's going to air that ball out nicely. They've got some good targets out there. And when you've got Run CMC in the backfield, Christian McCaffrey, miracles can happen. Absolutely.
Do you believe?
I believe. I know that they're taking on a tough Niners defense. They're in San Francisco. The spread's 5.5. I think you can guaranteed. Well, I shouldn't say guaranteed. That's probably not a great idea. But I feel very confident in Carolina covering that spread. Yeah, I'll backpedal. It's a nice bike. I tell you, I'll backpedal. But Carolina's going to cover that spread. But I also see Carolina with an upset of the week here. I see them taking out San Francisco, delivering the Niners their first loss of the 2019 campaign.
All right, for that game, you want any more coverage of it, head to WSN.com. Tons of betting guides for beginners and anyone wanting to learn more about strategy and how sports betting works. Ryan, what is our next game of the week?
Well, Adam, we got Oakland taking on Houston. They're in Houston. The Texans favored by 6.5. The over-under set at 51.5 at the moment. The Texans on paper are the better team here. However, the Raiders are slowly building a contender, a second wild card contender. Let's put that out there. Nothing more than that. But right now, that AFC West is just absolute garbage, and the Raiders have an opportunity here to move up, especially with Patrick Mahomes injured. It starts this week. It starts in this game, and I see them putting up a pretty good fight. I see them pushing the Texans and taking the spread. I don't see them winning this game. Houston's just too dominant, even though I still don't trust a Bill O'Brien offense. And with Will Fuller, the fifth out as well, Will Fuller V. He's out, so I don't see the Texans going off by any means, putting up any records on the stat sheet. But I see Oakland covering the spread. I see Houston win this game.
This one is really tough to kind of predict. It's a great matchup, and one matchup that I'm kind of maybe going to target one specific player. I'm going to avoid Darren Waller versus the Texans D. The Raiders tight end impressed this season, and he broke it last game. A couple of touchdowns, 126 reception yards. But Houston has done a great job this season keeping tight ends in check. I had to look it up. They've limited their teams to an average of 35 yards a game at the position. So if you can get in on it early, the odds should be great at betting Waller on the under for reception yards.
Nice. Okay, next up, we got Cleveland at New England. Patriots favored by 13. The over-under is set at 46. The line's moved a little bit here. I'll let you take the reins.
It's now minus 13, and the line was 10.5 at one point. So people are clearly hitting New England hard early in the week. Another game that will affect a lot of fantasy lineups. You got to wonder, can Baker Mayfield handle the bright lights of Gillette Stadium? And unfortunately, he's a bit of a confident, even cocky quarterback, but a stellar effort won't be enough. I mean, it's the Patriots. A double-digit spread, always a dangerous kind of proposition, but I love it here. Defensive team has been so good. I like New England. I like them minus the points. And if you're looking for something a little bit more enticing, I like the Patriots to score a defensive touchdown.
Ooh.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Nice. Okay.
I mean, they have every single week, so it's not that risky, but why not?
Yeah. Baker Mayfield should put some extra, cotton balls or something down the back of his pants because he's going to get spanked all day long.
What?
Yeah, I was going to go with like a Vaseline. Everyone uses a Vaseline reference. The Browns are going to get their asses handed to them in this game. There's no question about it. We don't even really need to dive into it. The Patriots are going to win. The Patriots are going to cover. The Patriots probably be in the next Super Bowl again. Blah, blah, blah. It's the same thing we say every single year with the Patriots, but they are more dominant than ever. That defense is ridiculous. Baker Mayfield's got to try and right the ship, but it ain't going to be this week. Take the Pats across the board.
But Ryan, Deflategate.
No. Let's move on. Let's move on.
Exactly. We have reached our Sunday night game, the last of our Sunday slate. It is a pretty enticing one. Fortunately, it could have been a lot better. Green Bay at Kansas City. Packers favored by 4.5. The over-under at 47.5. This had potential to be the game of the year until Patrick Mahomes got hurt. Unfortunately, the Chiefs will need a big effort from Matt Moore, who I honestly did not know was still in the league until last week.
Neither did he.
Neither did he. But you know what? He actually kind of played pretty well.
He did.
I'm going to maybe scoop him up as a low-key fantasy play in a lot of the daily fantasy sport and kind of go with it. The thing is, though, Green Bay's defense has surprised this year. Ignore last week's final against the Raiders. Oakland scored a bunch of garbage time TDs. Those don't matter. And I didn't think I'd ever say I'd take the road team in Kansas. But here we are. And I should throw out, much like Ryan with the Chargers, the Packers are my team. They got my soft spot. One thing that really jumped out at me is Jimmy Graham receptions. I am taking the over on this one. I love his odds to haul on a touchdown as well. And I really like the Packers in this game.
Yeah, I'm not going to go anywhere near that over-under of 47.5.
No.
Packers favored by 4.5. Are you kidding me? I mean, if we look at this on paper right now, I don't care where they're playing. Without Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs are a very different football team. But just look at this. Aaron Rodgers versus Matt Moore. That's all you need to know about this game. I take the Packers to win. I take the Packers to cover.
Woo! All right. I am pumped because we have reached our Monday night marquee game. Are you guys ready for this one? This is the one we've all been clamoring for.
Are you ready for this, Tom?
Miami.
He's excited.
At Pittsburgh. The Steelers, with a third-string quarterback, are favored by 14.5 points. The over-under at 43. So that means that, bettors are kind of predicting that Miami will score approximately 10, 15 points, which is kind of accurate.
Yeah.
It's an ugly, ugly game on paper.
Yeah, let alone actually watching it. The producers at Monday Night Football must be stoked. They get to have 2 bloodbaths in a row. I mean, this is ridiculous. Miami at Pittsburgh. I mean, they could have Hodges in the pocket. Doesn't matter. I mean, Rudolph's back after that scary concussion a few weeks ago. The Steelers are just going to dominate. This is ridiculous. If you're in Pittsburgh right now and you enjoy watching the Steelers score touchdowns, you should probably go to this game. You should probably buy some tickets because they're just going to dominate the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins are so bad, it's embarrassing right now. We've got the deadline coming up in a week. Be prepared to see a few more trades out of Miami as well as they continue this dumpster fire, this losing for a pick sort of thing that they're doing. The Steelers are going to win. I feel bad talking about the Dolphins because we're giving them more publicity than they need. The Steelers are going to win. The Steelers are going to cover, and the Dolphins are beyond horrible and mortifyingly bad.
Wow. All right. I agree Steelers will win on the money line, but that won't pay anything. But the spread just seems a little bit big to be trusting a bad Steelers team with a bad quarterback. And Ryan Fitzpatrick always has that one game a year where somehow he throws for 6 touchdowns, and it just kind of makes no sense. And it could easily be this week. It's almost like a stay away game for me. It's just as likely he throws a couple of pick sixes in the first quarter and the game's over 10 minutes in. So I turn to prop bets, and I really like Benny Snell Jr., the backup running back for the Steelers. James Conner going down with a bit of a quad injury last week. Snell performing well in the fourth quarter. He's got great value to find the end zone. I like that. I'm staying away from the over-under, and I'm staying away from the spread.
Jalen Samuels is getting healthy, though.
We'll see.
There's a chance he might be in this game, and if he is, he's going to take touches away from Mr. Snell.
Look, we got the full breakdown. WSN.com for all our listeners living in New Jersey or West Virginia. All you got to do is go to WSN.com for special bonuses and deals if you want to bet on this week's games. And you can compare the best legal online sports books and get exclusive offers when you sign up and start betting, Ryan. Buddy, we did it.
We made it.
This has been a blast. We're going to be doing this every single week for the rest of the season, laying out our predictions, our best bets, recapping your best bet of the week is...
best bet of the week, absolutely. Take the Minnesota Vikings over the Washington Redskins, hands down.
All right, and I am going with the New England Patriots to cover against the Cleveland Browns.
You're so gutsy.
Woo! It's a risky one.
Out on a limb.
This has been a blast. Again, head to WSN.com for all NFL coverage. It's ridiculous how much stuff they got going on over there. And let's see how these picks work out. It's been a blast. I'm Adam Forsyth. This is Ryan Sullivan, and we will see you guys next week.
Enjoy the games.